facing head-on the emotions beneath the surface as we bridge from an old world of confusion and lack to a beautiful new world of freedom, abundance, and love with straightforward truth and inspired hope is what you'll find on The Charla Anderson Show. Collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating. Here's your host, Charla Anderson.
Good, beautiful day, beautiful, beautiful souls. This is Charla Anderson, host of the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating, especially you. I'm proud to be on the Win-Win Women Network and with Podetize and the podcasting, live streaming all over the place. And I'm thrilled to have an amazing guest today, Antomius, Wise. Forgot to ask you that. But before we introduce him, we're going to do a nice, beautiful centering exercise, my little breathing set 22-second mini vacation called, we're going to breathe in calm for 7 seconds. We're going to hold for 4 seconds, and then we're going to breathe out gratitude for 11 seconds. And cannot wait to just bring our calm in, right? So I think we could do that more often. We'd have a calmer world. Okay, let's breathe in some calm for 7 seconds. Ready, set. Hold. Release. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, here we are. So this is, a fun little show that I've been doing now for, I think this is episode number 60 something. Your second season. And Antomius, is that correct?
Yes, Antomius.
Yes, Antomius. Okay. We met on a Zoom with Jim Lutz and Jim Britt that have this wonderful, amazing book called The Change book series. And mine's coming out whenever. We've got the chapter submitted and the cover's done. And I'm so excited. And so it'll probably be out this summer. And you're in book number 17?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So can we talk about The Change for a second and see this book series that I found? I mean, they found me out of the blue. I'm like, why me? And they said, why not you? And I was like, I don't know, because we got Les Brown on the cover. I mean, we can't do better than that, right? So
exactly.
I'm really curious about your experience with The Change and how that goes. And then we're going to introduce you.
Okay, sounds good to me. So the Change 17 series for me, it was a great marketing tool. It took my kingdom, what I had, to the next level, because I wanted to, be able to reach out to other audiences, all across the globe, not just in the United States. So teaming with those, group of authors, that helped me tremendously. And I understood the power of marketing. So when they came to me with the opportunity, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is great. So I try to tell people, that understand marketing. And if you can be around other authors, that can take your brand to the next level. But most importantly, you got to be able to provide solutions in society. That's what's really going to take it to the next level. But sometimes you need that icing on the cake with some candles. And that's what the Change series book, allowed for me too. So now I'm at a place where I can blow out the candles and eat the cake, and have my ice cream.
Well, I'm super excited about where it leads. I haven't had a lot of involvement yet, but I'll just say right now at the onset, if you want this type of approach, we're looking for authors. They're going to have book 22. It's almost filled. And continuing, they really want, and the best part is the beautiful Facebook people, all the authors on Facebook group and the mastermind and the brilliant marketing that Jim Lutz and Jim Britt have done. They're two of the most successful people in their field in the world. And I'm just kind of in awe of the opportunity. So
the ROI was nice. I tell people all the time that ROI is pretty nice. If you can combine what you're good at and be in a book, with these particular authors, you can really take things to the next level.
Well, I'm going to pick your brain more about that because I want you to tell us, introduce yourself, who you are, where you are, and we'll talk what you do in a little bit. I want to know, who are you in this world?
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's get started. So, yes, my name is Antomius Wise, and I have a unique gift that the Most High blessed me with. I'm a humanitarian, a former NFL player, a special agent, and also a life strategist. So, being a life strategist, I focus on the four pillars of life, which are taxes, relationships, emotions, and health. Those particular four pillars, everyone is going to face those. So, what I do is I provide solutions for those who want to understand how to bring value to society and create economic growth. And especially in the times that we're in right now, many people are looking for solutions. So, I said to myself, if people are looking for solutions, how about I find a way to provide them and also, get rewarded with tax breaks from the government doing it as well. But we can get more into that as we go into the show. But that's just me as a whole, the humanitarian, the former professional athlete, special agent, and life strategist, and Tommy is why.
And so this, what I heard you say, one of the shows, I guess where we met, it's like you're kind of like a secret agent. Seems like, or you get to meet high level people because you provide security services and things like that, is what I thought.
Yes, that's correct. That's one of the things when after my NFL career, I said I want to go somewhere where society will take me seriously. So it was either for me either go work for the IRS or the Secret Service. The thing was the IRS wasn't paying any overtime. Well, the Secret Service, they paid me overtime to watch a garbage can, 186,000, and then also I was able to network with the most powerful people in the world. And also be on a task force, that was, with the IRS as well. So Secret Service allowed me that flexibility, and most importantly, what assisted me that is having a spouse, that was willing to take over the reins of the kingdom, while I go, and work for the government from that standpoint. So I understood how to place my assets, let my spouse and the family take over the assets. And I'm going to talk about this more in the show when it comes to people that are making money inside the matrix. Because
Inside
a
the
lot of people really,
matrix.
yes, that is correct. Yes, we are living in two different, I don't want to say planets, whatever, but we're living in two different societies. And I'm going to debunk a couple of myths as we get on during the show, because I think people are really, excited to see this type of content, and I just like to provide people with the truth and let them decide, what they want to do.
Yes. And I'm guessing you don't, sit around watching a lot of the news and, uh, the, there's just seems to be such crazy, confusion out
Yeah.
there in the media world, and it just doesn't seem to mesh with what's really going on.
Well, it's
And
definitely entertaining for sure. What's going on. So, like I said, if we was to get into it, right, the real solution is this. So, our government, we're based off two systems here in America. It's not rich versus poor, or black versus white, or man versus woman. It's simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's EIN versus Social Security number. Those that are operating on an EIN, you have up to 475 deductions. And those that are operating on a social, you only have 8. So what does that tell you? Those 8 deductions may be a couple kids, mortgage interest, health savings plan, TSP or 401k. That's about it. But when you're operating on an EIN, you have a 475. Now you get the chance to experience financial freedom. So that's where many wealthy people understand how to experience that financial freedom more so than those that are not wealthy. Because they understand how to bring value to society. When you're bringing value to society, the government rewards you with tax breaks. So I teach people how to, instead of fighting against the government, understand how to work with them. And if you're going to work with them, that EIN, that lets them know you want to be in a relationship. So that's how you can exit I won't say exit yourself, but how you can win while you're in the matrix.
I
From
love
that
that. And
standpoint.
so just for clarification, if there's someone who doesn't know what an EIN means.
Yeah, so EIN is an employer identification number.
And it's
it
like
let
it's like a business identity rather than a
yes, yeah, it is a business identity, and for nonprofits as well. Even trusts have EINs. The thing is most people they're making money in the matrix. So that's where there's a lot of confusion comes into play. What they see on the news, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, like how can I juggle all this?" So what is the real solution? So what I do is I provide people that solution, those that are making money, in the matrix, from that standpoint.
that. I mean, I'm very intrigued, and I feel like you're a very intriguing person, and have come from so much. So I typically love to know, where did all this come from? You're heart centered. You totally heart centered. You totally have the highest level of integrity. I will just say that you want to make a difference, and you want everybody else to receive blessings. And so my mama said, leave the world a better place. And I'm sure that's what you're
Yes.
doing. So where did that come from?
So it originally started from me studying the scriptures, the Old Testament, and the Old Testament gave me the path to understand society. It gave me the blueprint. So it's up to me to execute it. Whenever I speak to the Most High, I always say, as long as I have breath in my body, so just give me that opportunity. Most people, want to go to the Most High for only when stuff's going good. But it said that the Most High was over all things, good and bad. So, but you want the opportunity for yourself. That's why you always want, if you can have a functional brain, because that puts you in a position where you are accountable. I tell people all the time, the gates of hell is in your mind, and how you unlock that is through knowledge. Be willing to obtain the knowledge, and that's how you'll be able to break those chains. So you got to be open to those type of things, and getting with a life coach or life strategist of some sort who have actually had that experience and that can show their work, that is monumental. So that's one of the things, like I said, I'm more of a solution based strategist, than most. Instead of just talking about the problems, we're going to find the solutions. And one of the things that I want to particularly talk about when it comes to the economic times now is when you're working with the government, as I call it, there's 4 ways that the government rewards you with tax breaks. And this is crucial for everyone that is making money in the matrix. Number 1 is investing. This is what Warren Buffett and Grant Cardone do a lot of. Number 2 is real estate depreciation, which one of our presidents do a lot of. Not going to say their names, but Number 3 is create new jobs, entrepreneurships, which another president, family does a lot of. And here's the kicker, you all, the 4th one, non-profit. And when you're a founder of your own operating public nonprofit, you're allowed to donate 60% of your AGI to your own operating nonprofit. And the IRS understands that because they know nonprofits need seed money. So for all these people who want to bring this value to society and educate people and that are like lower income or not as fortunate, you want to start your own nonprofit. It's almost like having a trust, but in the matrix. And that's why I see there's a disconnect with a lot of people. They don't understand that element of it, but just be open to it. But having a nonprofit, because see, back in the day, it was more of, the clergymen, when came in, they were asked, by like Thomas Jefferson, those, type of individuals, look, we want you guys to help start the government. But they were just like, look, we just want to help out with the community, and do our church thing. We don't want to be involved in all that. So they came to a deal, was like, okay, well, if you make us tax exempt, we'll assist. So that's why you see that whole tax exempt from the nonprofit perspective, because they still wanted to help people in the matrix. So nonprofits are very much, they can be solution based. So, but it puts you in a position where you can get the funding for the government and do what you need to do for your community. And that's where I have to teach a lot of people, instead of depending on the government to do the work, how about you start a nonprofit where you can get the funding from the government and everywhere else so you can support your mission and your cause. So that's the real solution to what's going on in society right now. You got to be bringing value to society so you can get rewarded.
So describe or define your definition of the matrix.
Okay, so so here's the deal.
I mean, I know, right? So I just want you to this is a conversation that so many
Yeah, I got
people
you.
don't understand and don't really care to have or want to go la 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 la.
This is what people got to understand. Every time you're walking out your home, you're in the matrix. Now, when you're inside of your home, you get to see things in real time. So what people got to understand, we're going to live in the world with everyone else, and we can't control what the powers that be, what they do. But what you can do is have your own kingdom. So that's where the solution comes into play, where have your own kingdom, understand your local governments first and then expand, because that's where a lot of the power, is at in the local government. You really don't want the federal to be in your business. So when you have things like the nonprofits, because that's what they were for, they was for the community. And I think a lot of times people want to expect the higher ups to do all the work. It's like, no, you want to be able to do the work in the community yourself. But I call this having a ruling class mentality. So that's what a lot of people should attempt to adopt, having that ruling class mentality where it's more solution based, where they can provide what they need to for their communities. And having that type of EIN, it puts you in a relationship with the government where they allow you to do that. But most people don't understand that relationship part. They just want to go against. They don't want to understand how to work with. And I even call it a plantation, right? So for you to get off the plantation, you have a boat, train, plane, or something. So there's different levels of the EIN. You got your sole proprietorship, which it's okay, but I don't really like that one because that's the most audited entity, right? But then you have your single member LLC, and then you have your partnership LLC, and then you have your LLC tax as an S corporation, and you have your LLC tax as a C corporation. Now, I want to give people another nugget as to what type of income, should you, if you're going to pick a business entity, you want to basically pick it on the type of income that you have coming in. So if you have between $0 and $50,000, for at least for a legal liability standpoint, at least be a single member LLC. Now, if your overall income, now we're talking about if you're still working on a W-2 job because you're having these thoughts about what's going on in society and you're looking for a solution. If you're working on a W-2 job and you're making between $50,000 and $300,000, you need to be an LLC taxed as an S corporation. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because with the S corporation, you get to avoid the 15.3% self-employment tax, and also you can have multiple years worth of losses. And also there's the material participant portion that the S Corp allows you to have. So with the S Corp, you're able to live corporate as well. And that's what the real solution is, understanding how to live corporate. Most people, they can't fathom that because they wasn't taught that in school. You were only taught how to work for someone. You weren't taught how to start your own business or do your own taxes. And people always ask me, they'd be like, why wasn't I taught this? And I have to say to them, why would the lion teach the gazelle how to get away? It's not logical.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have to seek out this knowledge from strategists and coaches. And that's one of the things that made me want to get into that Change 17 series book. So I can spread my message throughout the world, and it allowed me to. Now, with the C Corporation, this is a lot of my people who make a lot of money, especially like my professional athletes. When you're making 300,000 plus, especially in a business, you need to think about what is your structure. At that tax rate, you're taxed at a 37% tax rate. So with the C Corporation, you'll be locked in at a 21% tax rate. So that's so much of a drastic, especially if you want to create wealth from that perspective. But overall, understanding which business entity you want to get into the relationship with the government with based on the income that you have coming in. Because the first stage of creating wealth, anybody can try to argue with me all they want, is getting your own tax money back and using that to invest. People want to skip that part. No, you can't. So understand how to get in a relationship with the government so you can.
Wow, it's a big topic and a lot more than we can cover and all that. But it's very intriguing. So, and there's something you did say about being in your community, I believe, and this was me, all those years raising kids, all that stuff. I'll vote in the presidential election, but all this little other stuff, y'all take care of that, which
Yeah.
has caused, in my estimation, we've let our responsibility go to creating, from precinct chairs to school boards to local, even mayors and all that. I think
Mhm.
most of it. So we just had a little election in Texas, in my community, a lot of communities, I think, in Texas, but the increase in number of voters in a small election, basically, it's not the big presidential election or where you're doing all the big ones. A number of people voting has increased in the last couple of years exponentially, and they were just very proud of that. We finally are taking control of our own communities back again, and I think I know I was very guilty of that. I just didn't have time to figure it all out. Now we have some very good entities actually that study
Mhm.
and help you discern. They interview and help you discern, but we didn't have that as much earlier on. But I'm as guilty as the next person, right? For
And
not
I'm going
being
to speak about the time portion a little later on, as we get into the segment. But one thing I want to touch on is the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion, because there are
please.
still people out there that think that they're the same. No, they're not. Let me tell you guys this. So tax avoidance is saying that, hey, government, I'm in a relationship with you with this EIN. So I want to be able to, this is the value that I'm bringing to society. So I want to offset my W 2 income that I paid in taxes, which are in box 2 and box 17. So the government's going to say, okay, well, you're in a relationship with us. So we'll allow you to avoid taxes. Tax evasion is saying, screw you, IRS, catch me if you can. Now, many of you can't do that. Let's just be honest. Unless you want to live off the grid, it's your option if that's what you want to do. But many people sit home. You got your families, your kids, you got to take care of, things of that nature. You can't really just do that, or you may have a certain type of job. But what you can do is understand how to bring value to society by getting that EIN in any one of those business structures, or getting a nonprofit, because that has an EIN as well. And I'm going to touch on a little later the benefits of having a nonprofit, because it seems as if people are waking up now and they're like, you know what, if I have to do this stuff myself, I will. So if you do it through a nonprofit, that's when you're allowed to be able to basically express your passion and come up with a solution for the community. And that's how you're going to get rewarded, from the government.
I know that 501c3 is
Yes.
what many of the religious organizations are, but that attaches them to the government still, that they have a whole lot of control. I do believe there's another entity, and I'm asking these things because I want to know, right? It's not because I'm on a show. It's just like I'm so
No,
interested in
understandable.
your conversation and in picking your brain a bit. So I think is it a 501 something four that is less, it's still nonprofit, but it's less government controlled?
Yes, there are a couple ones like that. Only time really why I don't want to say agree with those, but you got to think about the beneficial factors, right? Because you're going to want other people to help you. Let's just be honest. You can't do it on your own. So capitalizing off the 501c3 status, that's where you allow people to get deductions for helping you. So people want to know, if I help you, they may like your cause, but it's like, do I get something in return? So you got to understand how to, like I said, be in a relationship with the government so you can take advantage of that. Because if you try to do it on your own, it may take you 60, 70 years. You may not even be here. So you got to understand what you're fighting with, time. And I'm going to talk about time, a little later. Give me about 2 minutes. Let me dive in more to the nonprofits. So the benefits of having a nonprofit, definitely mission driven, solving problems in your community, and not only with huge tax deductions, you can get nice, I want to say free labor, but a lot of volunteers. And then also student loan forgiveness. Like, it can help you with so many solutions that many Americans are going on, having right now. So just understanding how to, utilize that to their point. So me telling you about the nonprofit, let me tell you how nonprofits make money, right? So you have grants, and then also you have fee-based programs. So if you have a special talent as a founder, your nonprofit can charge society a fee and you don't have to pay any taxes, because as long as you stay within your wheelhouse of your cause. So these are the gems that many people out there that are solution based that want to solve these problems, what's going on in the matrix, whatever, they have to get this type of material, from that standpoint. Now, like I said, you can live off the grid, but it's gonna be challenging. Everybody may not be able to be a Rambo or some sort, but they need solutions. You laugh at Carla, but seriously, but they need solutions while they're in the matrix. But like I said, you got fee-based programs, and then also you have what else? You have donors, where they're like regular people that can donate. You have endowments, where, and this is going to talk about one of your questions you mentioned about the school system, right? So any of you ever went to college, you saw pictures of those older people on the wall that they monumized. They gave endowments. So guess what? They get to control the literature. So they can dictate if I want to teach them to be a worker, or do I want to teach them to, create wealth? So, but with the powers that be, they wanted to teach people how to be workers. And for you, if you want to experience financial freedom, you got to have a certain mindset. You got to be willing to go seek the knowledge to be able to go do it. But most people, they can't recalibrate their minds to go seek the knowledge. So that's where you have people like myself come into play at. So you got the endowments, and then you got sponsorships. Like we have as sponsors like the Commanders, the NFL, even the Secret Service sponsors. They give us hundreds of laptops, for children every year to our nonprofit. But the thing is, like I said, you got to be willing to provide solutions out there to receive this stuff from the government, to do what your cause is. So like I said, I like to teach people how to work with the government instead of against the government. From that perspective.
So when they're taught, it seems like there's a lot of people that are taught just to go to school, learn in school, just to go to work. They've not been taught any of these tools, just like you were talking in earlier. And I feel like there's some that are just either programmed, perhaps, or is it lazy? Is it like, whatever, just give me enough to get my next meal and get by? I mean,
Well,
I feel like there's a lot of different layers in these in the younger generation. I'm in the older one, so
yes. So many of us, we were sold a dream, get a job.
work hard, get a
Yeah.
job.
White
40.
picket
It's a 40-year
fence.
plan, right? The 40, you
Yeah.
work 40 years, you get a $40 watch, and then you get it,
Yeah. The whole plaque and everything,
and you work, and
so
then you have to live on 40% of your your income, and I mean, so it's been a tricky
yeah. With
times.
yes, it is. So this is why I like things like the internet, where, because we're in the age of information now, right? So people can't really say that, okay, well, this was hidden, only the wealthy people understood. No, we're in the age of information. And I want to talk about the time part, because I'm going to bring it home for you, because I heard you mention about time, when you said you didn't have enough time, right? So many of us are stuck in the middle class trap. We just know how to 9 to 5. We don't understand how to 5 to 9. So you got to be able to escape that. And one of the first things you got to do, escape the middle class trap, you got to, stop thinking like poor people. When I say poor people, I'm talking about mentally, not physically, where that means you need to stop gossiping, overeating, drinking, watching a bunch of porn, things of that nature. You got to learn how to attack time. Because as a grown functional adult, when you start working, we all get 4 discretionary hours. When we get married, we have 2 discretionary hours. When we start having kids, we only have 1. And if you're a single parent, you only got 30 minutes. So with that time, you got to start studying things like real estate, whole life insurances, IULs, and most importantly, invest in yourself. That is the number one thing that's for you to understand the matrix. You got to be able to invest in yourself to get this knowledge. So that's why you need to get with strategists and life coaches, whatever, that can teach you this stuff, because you can go down the rabbit hole, for days. It can consume, a lot of, confusion. You can get on the news and everything. You're going to see a lot of confusion. It just depends on whichever channel you watch from that standpoint. So getting with a strategist or a life coach that can basically give you the playbook. And that's all it is, understanding what's the playbook. Especially while you're in the matrix, you better know the playbook. If you're not, whatever, you're just going to be walking around like a zombie, and confused. So that's how you be able to escape the middle class trap. You got to use those 2 to 4 discretionary hours, very wisely. And if you do this for 90 to 120 days, it will increase your chances of mastering your success.
So you're talking, I mean, mindset is huge and it's all choice. I just don't think a lot of people, I just don't think they have hope that something could be better, that, that just, we got to get through today and get enough food and eat and, and our value. I feel like maybe the values in our society has changed enough that, we got to, everybody wants to be entertained, right? But during that entertainment, they could have been using that time to educate themselves or to find something. It's all choice, and I'm going back to that, the mindset.
You're exactly right. It's all about options. Everybody have options to this day. So, and like I said, that, and be honest with you, that's what the Most High allows you to have options. Like I said before, you study scriptures, he was over good and evil. So now it's going to allow you to use your brain to make decisions. So now you got to be accountable, 'cause especially when I talk to people, when they say things like, well, what I feel, I'll be like, how about this? Take a deep breath. Instead of saying I feel, say I think. Because now you want to be accountable for your thoughts. You don't want to think with your heart. Your heart can't take too many heartbreaks. You want to be able to think with your mind. So you can be
every
accountable.
Word matters. I mean, that's this book over here, Split Second Transformation, Change Your Words, Change Your Life, 31 Daily Practices. Every word matters. And
yes.
So every breath, when you say I am, you're breathing the I am into you, and it is who you become. If I am sick, I am tired, I am all those things that you complain about, shifting some of those words you speak, because the I am is God in you and the breath of life coming right into you. So when I always give this example, but I'm too tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. It's not going to make you less tired talking about that, but you could say I'm refreshed, I'm pumped, I'm energized, and you shift. It's a choice. Your mindset is a choice, and everybody can do that. But what I was trying to say earlier, the word came to me. So many people are just in survival mode, just trying to find enough to make it and pay the rent, or whatever it is, that they don't have the mental capacity at the end of the day to, read a book or something. So,
and that's why having like podcasts like yours, where this information can be shared, and they can, and from the guests, they can go, look at, what they're offering, so they can, get this information. That's why I'm glad you brought me on, so I can, speak on these things for people to share this type of information, because it's out there. I just happen to run it through my nonprofit, where, and that's where I got with some of the powers that be to sponsor me to do this for like lower income people, So I got that portion, and then I also got a portion for the middle class, where if they invest in basically my financial literacy program, I teach them these techniques, so that they can get out of that survival mode, and it's more solution based, from that standpoint. So
that's amazing. That's really great. So we'll just go here now. How do people find you? And I would like to, then we'll go and talk about this. You have a huge passion for serving the domestic violence, the people that are abused, and probably the abusers as well, because I say bullies are victims too. People are anybody that's in that cycle didn't get there by themselves.
Abusers need rehab too. That's what people got to understand. Abusers need rehab too. Because you don't want to just throw them back in society and they do the same thing over. You know what I mean? So I looked at it from a solution-based standpoint. Yes. From that perspective. But yeah, they can find me. I want to say the easy, because I have a unique name, right? So you can easily Google my name, which is Antomius Wise. That is ANTOM as in Mary, IUS, last name Wise. Because I'm going through a rebranding. I basically got champagne problems, you guys. What are champagne problems is, I'm making more in my red pill job, more so than in the blue pill world. So from that perspective, having champagne problems, you have to understand that, this is what the Most High, understand what you're good at, and then monetize it. So as a humanitarian, this is more my passion. But because I'm so young, and the Most High blessed me with this skill set, I'm preparing myself to take off, so I can stay soaring, so I can come back now if I want to be in a matrix or if I don't want to be in a matrix. But I got that option. And it's all about having options. And that's what I tell people. If you want to escape the matrix, whatever, you got to have some type of vehicle, like say plane, train, car, bus, boat, or something. If not, you're just going to be stuck in the matrix, and be almost like a hamster wheel.
Even feet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you just have to take one step at a time to get to that, get to the bus, right? So that use your feet if you don't have anything else.
Yes. Use your feet in combination with your mind. That is like I said, the mind is the most powerful tool. Without your mind, only being that can help you is the Most High. Without your mind, but the Most High wanted to give you that ability to own yourself, where you can do it, because that's what separates you from everyone else. Your mind. Somebody may look like you, may be the same size, same weight, but your mind, not only mindset, what is your mindset for? So that's what a lot of people got to understand. What is your mindset for?
Hmm. Well, you've opened up a lot of very intriguing, interesting thoughts. And if somebody wanted to,
Oh yes,
know
if they
more
want to
about
contact me.
if they want to contact you, and because your target is really high end earners already, right? So
Yeah, so it's mostly I want to say, and we're gonna go by the IRS numbers. I want to say people that are making between like that 120, 900,000. That's kind of my target audience, because when you start making six figures, you really want to start investing in yourself, because now you're going to go into a different tax bracket. And you're seeing your tax dollars getting used in overseas, and depending on who's in charge of the government. So if you want more of your tax dollars back, you need to think about investing into a strategist instead of a regular CPA. Now I need to tell people the difference. So a strategist is going to sit down and look at Charlotte Anderson's life. Okay, what is she doing? Okay, she just wrote a book. How can we monetize to get her message out there? What entities do we need to set up? Whatnot. How can we keep more of the money that they're taking in taxes? Because Charlotte may not want to live off the grid. She want to send her message. Being in the matrix. So how can we get that money back and use that to invest, to take off? So that's the first stage. So that's what a strategist would do. Rather a regular CPA, they would just make you compliant, just file your taxes, and that's it. But a strategist, you're going to talk to them about 6 to 10 times during the year. And they're going to create a tax plan in play, submit it to the IRS. IRS approves it, and you use it come tax time. That's how you legally avoid taxes. Tax planning. Tax planning versus tax prep. Wealthy people understand how to tax plan, and people that are not so wealthy, they just know how to tax prep.
brilliant. I
So
mean, this is brilliant. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that there are people like you that understand that we're living in a matrix. We're living in a world that we don't really understand or have control over, that it's been kind of contrived for us over the last centuries. And
and keep this
it's
in
a
mind too.
long-term playing. It's a
Oh yeah, and
long
keep
game
this in
plan.
mind too. You got to be able to. It's own nothing, control everything. We all want we want to own. No, it's own nothing, control everything. You want to be able to control it. So when you're living in a matrix, you want to be able to control your tax dollars, and that is what's most important. The conversation I have with people who think about where if I live off the grid, or if not, be in a position where you can control your dollars. Your financial goals, where you can control that, and that's being in that type of relationship. But definitely people can find me on Instagram at life_strategies 2.0, and also on LinkedIn as well under my full name, Antomius Wise. And then on Facebook, you can find me on there as well. But definitely go to my website right now. We're going through a little rebranding, you guys, because
Me too. Yeah.
my platform has been taken off. And so that's why I try to use the Google and just type in my name, because at any day it's going to make that switch. But because of the value that I'm bringing, the content that I have is highly sought after, because people right now, they really want solutions of what's going on. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna get worse. So what you can do as an individual, put yourself in a position where you can bring some value to society. And that's how you're going to create economic growth, and you'll be rewarded for that. Just focus on bringing value to society throughout all the chaos that's going on. Just bring some value. That's it. Be able to bring value, because you want others to be able to assist you while you're bringing value. Just like how, pastors in the churches did. With all the chaos that was going on, they were still bringing value.
Fascinating, fascinating. So I'm grateful, for this time with you. I was very. You had said something about all those little things you were doing, not little, and I was like, man, he's got a lot going on, and how fun is that? And to have gotten your toe in all those different things. Now you've got the pillars, right? Taxes, relationships,
Emotions, and health.
Taxes be financial, I guess but
yeah. Reason why I say taxes, right? Because for every dollar you make, you get 60 and the government gets 40. So
or less,
why?
or more, yeah.
So why work off of 60% of your income and not work off the whole 100? I'm sorry, well, you got to pay FICA, Social Security, so you're not going to get that back. So you probably got about 38, 32% to work with that you can get back, instead of giving that every year to the government and hoping they do the right thing. And that just depends on who's in office.
And so what I think is another huge myth, you have a whole program called Debunking Myths. To me, I don't believe that the IRS is not a government agency necessarily, is it? Or is it the Federal Reserve is not a government agency, or not federal.
Yeah.
It's not federal.
Yes.
Where did my question go? It's like,
well, I'll say this.
We went out.
So
yeah.
So Congress wrote a lot of the rules and the laws, and the IRS just works with them on that. That's who kind of monitors that. So that's why I talk about with people getting in a relationship, with it instead of going against it. That's what people got to understand. The Congress wrote these rules, these laws for the citizens. But the thing, what I noticed, not a lot of citizens understand the tax codes. So that's where the disconnect is.
They complicate them so greatly.
Yeah. So, but you got to get with a strategist or coach of some sort, because you have options now. So that's why I say invest in yourself. Spend a little money to get with a coach or strategist that can teach you.
And so the volunteer. There's been word out there, and it's coming more and more out there, that the tax system is a voluntary system. And so you're finding ways to work legally through this system in the way they want you to do that, or okay.
Not the way that they want you to do.
The way
options that you have to do.
Okay.
Like say, it's a choice. So I teach people how you can avoid taxes by understanding those tax codes, to your advantage, because it's your patriotic duty, especially if you're American, it's your patriotic duty to utilize the tax codes to your advantage.
I like that. So, the voluntary tax system, and it has been called that. That's where, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how that. If I hear the word voluntary tax system, I'll say it this way. If I hear the word voluntary tax system, then if I just don't want to pay taxes, but they have created a system that's going to punish you for doing that, then it gets a little complicated. So that's where you come in. And I think that's a huge place for you to be. And if someone is they're in the survival mode, it's hard for them to find a way to hire
on their
someone out on their own, hire someone.
You want me to tell you how you can?
Yeah, I do. I want you to.
Oh, yeah. So, and I was in a situation like this before, right? But ultimately, you want to bring value, right? So when I got cut, I didn't, I had to get on like unemployment, all that stuff. So it wasn't a pretty sight, but I had the nonprofit. So what I did was I would volunteer where a lot of wealthy people were, and I would go to the name tag station. So I would pass out name tags, and I would, able to tell them my story. So, and they were like, we like what you're doing. We're willing to volunteer. And also I had a security company too at the time, executive protection company. So I would tell them, let me protect you for free. So that gave that volunteer, that servant's heart, that put me in the rooms where those wealthy people, they was like, you know what? Let's help this individual out. We want to get behind his mission. So I tell people, if you really want to get, assistance from people that are higher up, be open to volunteer. If you don't make a lot of money or whatnot, be open to volunteer. If someone came to Charlotte, like, Charlotte, like what you doing? I don't got no money. What can I do around, your house, or what can I do for your book? I'm good at marketing and stuff like that. Being able to volunteer, but that's just having a servant's heart. It goes back to the Old Testament, the scriptures. So that's why I say it is solutions out here, even if you don't have money. But you got to be able to unlock your mind, the gates of hell, to get this knowledge. So what are you willing to do to get that knowledge? Are you willing to volunteer?
I think that is absolutely brilliant strategy to just, I've told people that are looking for relationships, you're not going to go on the internet, are you? I was like,
Yeah.
what do
Well,
you
I
love
got
to
a whole
do? Do you
segment
love
on that, but we'll leave that. We'll talk about that another time.
Right. No, but what do you love to do? Go and be in that environment and you'll find other people that love to do that. If you love gardening, or if you love bike racing, or I don't know, whatever,
Yeah.
do what you love to do and do it with enthusiasm and fun. And you will attract, with the mindset, you will attract, the right person and other people that are interested in the same things. And that's what you're talking about in a way.
Yes.
Just be volunteering is brilliant. And I'm grateful that you brought that up, because I and go to the name tag session. That's great. That's great. So, and I was at a huge fundraiser they needed waitresses, and I could have, there were very, 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 very wealthy people there in my community. And I really wasn't in a place right then to actually talk with a lot of them, but I did talk with some of them, and it was.
And that's why I'm a proponent of, where you got to be ready for the opportunity. And that's what the scripture allowed me to do. Studying the scriptures, it made me ready because it gave me the blueprint. I tell people the Old Testament is going to give you the blueprint. It's up to you to follow it, and that's why I said you got to be willing to unlock that, the gates of hell in your mind, because it's going to give you the blueprint. So that's what I was, it allowed me to be able to do that, and it's like, man, have a servant's heart. You don't got no money right now? Have a servant's heart, so, and the Most High rewards those who are bringing value. And even the government does too, but it's just, like I said, debunking those type of myths for a lot of individuals for what's going on in society to this day.
So many
So that's
people
what I'm
have
all
it.
about.
What's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it
Yeah.
for me? What am I going to get? And I believe when you shift that, and how can I serve? How can I serve? How can I serve? And how can I leave the world a better place?
There you go.
That is my constant mindset. How can I leave it better for the next person? And I get my rewards come. I feel better. I feel good about myself when I'm able to make a difference in someone else's life. And so that's kind of where I'm leaving it here with me today. So final words.
You.
You had a quote. Yeah. There's so many things I wanted to talk to you about, but my name means to chat in Spanish. So it's kind of all over the place. It means joy in Greek. But what is final words? What do you have to leave us with today that would be your best message?
I would say the quote I like to use is, the key to patience is doing something in the meantime. We may have these goals, like 2, 3, 4, 5, but you have to do something in the meantime, whether you're trying to get married, or you're trying to get rich, or you're trying to buy a property. The key to patience is doing something in the meantime. So don't just wait on that one goal. You still have to live life. So just take it one day at a time, and bring value while you're waiting, to accomplish that goal.
Move. It's taking a step. So much more happens when you take a step towards it. It just magnetizes to you so much better and faster. You're not typically going to get wealthy sitting on a couch waiting for your lottery ticket to play.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's
thank
the
you
truth.
so much, Charlotte. I greatly appreciate you having me on. Like you're welcome. If you got any more slots available, feel free to reach out. I enjoyed the conversation.
Well, this is fun. It's always fun to me. It's rare that I just sit down and talk to somebody for an hour in the real world out here, right? So although I talk to everybody, I'm the social. But anyway, this has been a great time for me, and I'm really proud to have you as a guest. And now I feel like a friend, and we'll be working towards all kinds of things. I think I admire you so greatly in your heart. Thank you for
Oh,
joining me today so much. And
well, thank you so much. And I want to say, thank you to your audience as well for having me on and listening. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me. The Google search is Antomius Wise. And on, like I say, LinkedIn, you can find my name on there. And Instagram, life_strategies 2.0.
and what a great last name to be blessed with, by the way. I
I
mean,
know, right?
I know, right?
Well, thank you, thank you.
Wisdom is, I mean, I've got all these wisdom hairs, these silver things that,
I know.
well, thank you so much. And I will, what I always tell everybody, I like to tell people that you're perfect exactly who and where you are. You can't be loved more or less by God than you are right now. And just remember that you are loved. And I really encourage you to always just remember joy is a choice, so choose joy.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. The Charla Anderson Show. Encouraging you to stand strong and courageous with bold faith, no fear, immense hope, kindness, and love, especially towards yourself. Visit charlaanderson.com for replays, blogs, and more on her ever-expanding website, as well as watch her live TV show on winwinwomen.tv, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And so that we can continue learning together and growing this community of beautiful souls, we invite you to share the Charla Anderson Show with your circle of friends. Until we meet again next week, remember always, choose joy.